Let the bass kick.
Somebody's got to ice down that Diet Coke.
I know, right? My manager, what made it more funny is my manager's
Ice
like,
Diet Coke
my manager's
Butler.
like, oh, you can move them up if you want to, but they can make your tip any better.
Wow, that's cold.
Shit.
Watch this.
Yeah.
Watch this.
Yeah.
You just dared me. That was a triple dog dare.
Right. So it made it even more fun than that. Like the next day, next week or so, I see all those guys come in that like I had used for their service to move the table upstairs, and I was like, hey man, how's that check feel? That check got a little extra on it, don't it?
Yeah.
You can thank me for that.
Yeah,
You too. Yeah. That check
Yeah.
look good.
Yeah.
Guess who got that for you?
Yeah. Marcus, take care of you.
Yeah. Because next time you see my table need some water, remember, man, my check was nice last night, man.
Yeah.
I need to go make sure his tables need some water, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Come take care of me.
Plus the VIG.
Money
Plus the
talks.
big.
Money talks.
Yep. What up? What up?
Oh, we're live.
What up? I snuck it in on you.
How'd you do that? do that.
I got the big red button. I got it right here.
Yeah, I knew it was going.
Damn.
I knew what was going on.
It's good stuff, man. It's good stuff, man. What up? 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 What up?
It's like my hat's like disappearing. On screen. Can you see my hat on screen? Let's go, Z. Let's go, Z. Let's go, Z.
This is the part for the tuba. Boom, 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 boom.
Z the big tuba.
What up?
Welcome back.
Yeah.
Welcome back.
Don't
to-
you ever try to start without me beatboxing again, sir.
Well,
No.
you know, I have to be
time.
real tricky to show up at the course earlier than Dr. Hoy. I've learned that lesson over the last few years. And here we are.
Chick.
Got to learn some new tricks, old dog.
You should give his hat away as a prize.
Oh.
Yeah, but you
When I
should
saw the hat, I thought,
definitely keep wearing it because it's super fly. Come on, put it
That
on.
makes my heart.
Does it fit over?
It's good podcasting.
Jason Mraz.
Props. Yeah,
Mraz.
good job. Yeah, that is a Mraz hat. You know how long it took me to learn how to say that name? Yeah, welcome back to episode 31, guys. I am Will.
I am Marcus.
I'm Dr. Hoy, and I'm listening.
And joining us in the Sapphire Lounge this evening is our good pal. This gentleman has served alongside Dr. Hoy and myself on the board of directors for Music City Disc Golf for many years. And he's become a dear friend of ours. And he's got a bunch of really interesting stuff in the works that we're going to be talking about tonight. But without further ado, golf snaps, give it up for my homie, Robert Zavala.
Yeah.
Big Z in the place to be.
Big Z.
Yep.
Nice.
I am going to adjust your camera resolution real quick.
I don't know that's a good thing.
Usually it's me close to the camera, look really big, and then Jay is scooted way far back in the corner, and it looks tiny. Music City Open registration is live.
Boom.
So
What's going on? We already
It's
got 17 people
already-
signed up for the NT, and how many? 20 already? Probably two more since we talked about it last.
yeah,
The
it's,
eighth year.
and that's only because the women and juniors were the first to open today. Tomorrow is the age protected pros, age protected amateurs. So get signed up for that. I even heard from someone today that it has to take a basically a shit break at 11:55 a.m. tomorrow because they got to be ready for the noon drop to get the registration. I just wanted to make him have to put the parental advisory back up because he just took it down. So, but
That's one
there's
of your
somebody
signature moves. Is
that was
messing with my
worried
process there.
about getting in. He's a MA40. He's like, that opens tomorrow at noon. He's like, yeah, I don't know if I'll be able to. And then I'm like, we got to take a break at that time. And I sent him the thing with the poop emoji. He's like, oh yeah, that's what I'm planning on. So he's gonna go, take a.
Doctor details. There you go.
Hey,
Right.
I like to help the people out, so I can offer a doctor's note if you need to miss half a day to get signed up. we can make that happen.
You are easily one of the most helpful people I know, for sure.
I'm like a Swiss Army knife.
Yeah.
And also, Mike Lane Classic is going to be the next. That Marcus is the TD of
Check
that
out the
event.
logo.
Yeah.
Update it.
Yep.
Just do a
Updated
Google
logo.
Search real quick.
What?
Do a Google search. You can.
Yeah.
Check out
Google
the logo.
search DG Scene Mike Lane Classic, 2021. Looks slick.
Coming at you real soon.
And registration will open there April 13th.
Oh yeah. Get ready.
And registration for summer solstice at Seven Oaks Summer Solstice will open on 4/20.
Boom.
Yeah.
That date was chosen randomly to open.
Just random.
Just that
I
random.
don't get
Pulled it out of a hat.
That was
I don't get it.
I don't know.
well. I don't
what
know.
they're talking
Like
about.
I heard some people talking about 4/20 once, but I didn't know what it meant. So
421, 420.
things around Earth Day.
Just another day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Arbor Day, maybe?
Yeah.
Right around there?
Yeah.
Something? Earth Day? I don't know.
Earth.
But
Earth.
hey, little as I mentioned, housekeeping. I got to eat a little crow real quick. So we made some remarks flippantly about, well, I did. I'll speak for myself, about the FPO Player of the Year award. Definitely was not approached by anyone from the PDGA about some things that I may have said. But, I do want to clarify a couple things because, Dr. Hoy, we went into some...
Canceled.
Yeah, not canceled. Definitely still on. Registration just opened, and now we're canceled. Oh, no. Dr. Hoy. So I'm going to go into full disclosure mode
Okay.
right now and say that due to being an expert podcast host and producer, I played right along and gave no indication when it came up on last week's episode 30, when we started discussing the debacle with the Female Player of the Year award. Well, when you started talking about it on the podcast, it was the first I heard about it. I hadn't been paying attention to nothing. And so I'm like, oh, yeah, wow, that's interesting. Yeah. So I proceeded to mouth off about it for probably about 10, 15 minutes or something. Podcast.
That was a landmine. That
Always
I
the
dropped
excuse.
in your lap.
Podcast.
Yeah.
But no.
Usually we can get Jay to fall on those for me, but
Right.
Sorry.
Yeah,
Jay
yeah.
went here last week.
So to clarify on some things, I have a little bit more of a broad scope of what actually went down with this whole scenario after a conversation with my dear friend Sean Sinclair, who big golf snaps to Sean and Sarah Sinclair for epic success at the ladies and gents doubles event at Ogwood on Sunday. It's the largest mixed doubles event in the world. It's a cancer fundraiser. It has historically been held in South Carolina, in Columbia. One of the annual events that Sarah has always run. And she's been living in Nashville for quite some time. And so she's been traveling remotely, like in planning and preparing this event remotely for many years since she's been living here. Finally made the decision to pull the ripcord and move the event here. And I remember having a conversation with her and Sean months ago. They were trying to figure out, we want to move it to Nashville. We don't know where we could do it with COVID and Metro. And I was like, do it at Ogwood. Why did you not do it? What better place could you do it than Ogwood? Private property, you have free reign of the place. You set it up however you want. Mm-hmm. And Philip has your back. He does all the legwork for you. And it's perfect. Let's make it happen. So yesterday, Sunday, was the culmination of this. You guys are going to see a lot of this in the break, but people came from all over the place. We had a full field at 100 players, so that's 50 teams. Dang. She had it split into 3 divisions, gold, red, and blue. So there were first place trophies. I don't know who provided them, but they were really dope little wire baskets with mini chains on little slabs of marble with placards on them. And then the second through third place trophies were made by Shantae. Mm-hmm. And they were dope. Like some of her best acrylic mini work. They were like the size of junior discs. Mm-hmm. But they were super dope. They had like the new Ogwood logo with the big mushroom as like the satellite basket and stuff. They were super cool. And so we had all of that stuff. Obviously, Sarah blows this one out of the water and does months and months and months of legwork getting donations for prizes, for raffles and stuff. Well, something interestingly that we can talk about maybe as an interim once I finish a little brief recap of everything that went down. But we recently discovered that raffles are a big no-no.
Well,
per the state of Tennessee. Like for a nonprofit organization, you're allowed to do one per year, right?
They're considered gambling.
Right,
That's
they're
the
considered gambling. So we have definitely not been doing raffles at every event for the last 5 years.
Nope.
But we are saving our one per year for the Music City Mega Raffle at Music City Open. The 2021 Music City Open presented by Dynamic Disc. Registration is open now.
Live.
And breaking news. And
Still broken.
Still broken. So, yes. So, anyway, lots of prizes. She ran an auction instead of a raffle, and she did that online. She had a virtual players meeting, did all the necessary checks and balances, COVID procedures and all that stuff. But, dude, these people descended from all over the place. There was a dude and his wife and their kids that came down from Connecticut.
Whoa.
Yeah, 14-hour drive to play the event. And all the East Tennessee homies were there. Margaret Bowden-Distel, Michelle Powell, Sierra Schustrick was there. There was a bunch of people from Chattanooga. Of course, Turtle and his wife came. Karen.
Saw that.
And, dude, people
The
came.
Barnetts.
Yes, the Barnetts. Brittany and Donovan Barnett were here. And it was just awesome. It was like one of those big family reunion type events, like a DDO or a Bowling Green or something like that you look forward to for that reason. It was super dope. And everybody had a blast. It was dude, I cannot just praise Sarah enough. Obviously she's a baller on and off the course, and is involved with all sorts of different stuff. But dude, she's a hell of a TD. Yeah. Like her mind was on all the right things throughout the entire process. And I showed up just to see if I can make myself useful, just to help. And some of the trophies were messed up, not Shantae's, but the other ones.
Yeah.
I was able to create Big Willie style little jeweler shop right there, little trophy workshop on the bench behind the TD Central.
You got those glasses.
I sent Sean to the store for super glue. Yeah, dude. And I put stuff back together. Everything was fine. They looked like nothing was ever wrong with them. Everybody had a blast. And I don't know if an official announcement about how much money was raised has been made yet, but I know that she did finally select a charity. That was another part of moving the event to Tennessee.
Over 1,200 was what she said at the players meeting.
Easily
but
over 1,200.
She probably got more on the day of. Probably people donated.
Well, and she's got to do the work of combining all the money from the online auction and all the donations and all the other stuff. But as of right now, I would say ultimately, like based on our experience running fundraiser events and the number of people that were there and the ancillaries that she had, like I'd say she probably raised close to $3,000 at the very least. And she did select a charity, and it's one that's local here, and that was a part of her whole difficulty in moving the event was she was benefiting the South Carolina Cancer Alliance when she was running the event in Columbia. So she ended up partnering with Sherry's Hope, which started out as a race to benefit a cancer organization in memory of somebody who died because of cancer, and has evolved into this full-blown nonprofit organization all its own. So that's where the funds will be going. Super awesome. But yeah, it was a great success. And but yes, I was talking to Sean about what had happened with the
what had
happened was let's get back to having some fun, shall we? So yeah, what had happened was, so for the last 20 years since the award has existed, the male and female player of the year awards have been established and decided based on one set of criteria. And at some point over the last couple of years,
which is published, correct?
Yes, which has always been published. Yeah. But much like anything, and we can get into that later, but maybe hard to find, you know? Gotcha. So at some point over the last couple of years, much like as we've seen many things changing with the PDGA, they are trying to update their protocols to the standards of today as they're changing and evolving. And that was something they revisited, was the criteria for deciding the Player of the Year award. And it's just basically small adjustments to account for the higher volume of events that are happening now, and the higher level of competition, and all these different things are taken into consideration for this. So I know that the timing of it was basically the source of all the controversy. Other than the fact that the co-player of the year, like that seemed kind of cheap. So ultimately what happened is if anybody who has been paying attention is watching or listening to this, you know that the media director for the PDGA, Steve Hill, exited recently towards the end of 2020, went on to work for UDisc. Well, the PDGA is still struggling to fill those shoes, as you could imagine. Steve is a beast. And I've always felt, and this is kind of part of what led me to run for the board of directors at the PDGA, was that they're lacking in visibility. Like, it's hard to access certain things. I think a lot of the criticism that the PDGA draws is due to information being hard to find. It's not readily apparent. It's not readily available. Right. So people start talking before they have the documentation. And obviously people are going to do that anyway, but this could curb some of it, you know? And that was just one of my thoughts. But so apparently somebody, but because they've been understaffed and they've been trying to have multiple people kind of operating in this spectrum, nobody knows who made the post announcing the change to the criteria. Oh. And I'm probably not supposed to say that either. But I think it will play into the purpose of explaining how this happened, because it upon further inspection, to me, it does seem reasonable on how it could have happened.
Yeah.
So first of all, it was an oversight. Like, it may have been a draft of a post that was released officially announcing the change to the criteria. Ultimately, I feel that the announcement of it happened without like them all fully being on the same sheet of music about the timing of it.
Yeah.
And they had run the numbers up to that point, and Katrina Allen was, and that was under the previous algorithm.
Okay.
So the update to the algorithm, and like after they realized that this post had been made that announced the new criteria, because I feel like if they had full control of the orchestration of it, you probably would have seen it be released, much like the timing of their other press releases and stuff. It comes into effect the next year or something like that. It's enough time for people to become aware of it. They may have done something like that. I'm not trying to put words in their mouth, but either way, this happened, and then they had to deal with it. But when they realized that post had been made, before there was all this controversy, they said, well, we need to run this year's award through the new algorithm and see what the differences are. And so they ran the award, and Paige Pierce won by 1 point. And now you look at Katrina and Paige, and obviously, as we mentioned on the last episode, the two most dominant players in the game in the FPO division for the last number of years.
Yep.
There are certain observable differences between the two of them in the way they operate within the game. For one, Katrina plays way more smaller events.
Yep.
Always has.
I mean, just example this weekend, she won the Open at Belton.
Right.
Katrina and Paige was in the field.
Yep. And here's a little Easter egg. The first PDGA event I ever ran, the first PDGA event ever at Ogwood in 2015, Katrina was there. It was a C tier. So I think that may play a large part in the difference there, but it was a 1 point difference. And so knowing that, the co-award makes a little bit more sense. Sounds a little bit more reasonable. So I want to open mouth, insert foot, and eat my words from last week. Not necessarily my words, but my tone for sure. And it was unfair for me to put that on the people at the PDGA, because they're all awesome and they're doing a great job. They're overworked and underpaid. And I've always said I feel like they get way more criticism than they actually deserve. But there are ways that we could get around that.
Yeah.
So, but it's a team effort.
Also, it was the way, because Smashbox, the day it was announced that Katrina was the player of the year, Smashbox or somebody had Paige Pierce on a podcast, and they're like, "Oh, so what did you think of this recent announcement today of Katrina being the player of the year?" So, and she hadn't read it because it had just been announced, and so then Paige was like, "Oh, that's fake news," and so I don't know what, but it was kind of playing on that controversy.
Oh, absolutely.
We will, for getting discussion points, kind of, because I just had read that and it seemed like it was firing people up. So
yeah, and that's
dropped
the thing.
bomb, and
and this kind of made me think about things. And I don't want to go into full detail about how all of this came to light to me, but I have to pay more attention to the multiple roles that I play, like the multiple positions that I am filling. One, I am a podcast host. So we get together here every week, and our goal has always been to, discuss the things that are happening right now, offer our opinions on them, but really just kind of figure them out together as we go conversationally. And when you're having an open discussion, it wasn't like I was trying to curate a conversation and make it go a certain direction in order to broadcast it or present it as a product to anybody. It's always been, we got a group of friends in this room and we're having a conversation about some things that that affect all of us and that we all have stock in. And when you're having a conversation with your friends, a lot of stuff just comes out of your mouth. Mm-hmm. And I might have thoughts about something as us, just as people, as disc golf players, that don't necessarily reflect my position on that issue as a tournament director or a promoter. And, something that I had to take full stock of was the fact that, I host a podcast and we're trying to create an entertaining product here. We're trying to create content that people want to watch and listen to. But I'm also the tournament director of a national tour event. Mm-hmm. And so that makes me not only a representative of the national tour series, but also a representative of the PDGA to some extent. Mm-hmm. So I should have been more responsible with my words in the way that I released them. So for that, to anybody who was affected by that in any way, I apologize. So, but here's the thing. This is the same way I run tournaments. I mess up, I own it, we move on.
Yeah.
And it's always the way I'm going to run this podcast too, because I'm not going to stop saying what I think or being who I am or feeling the way I feel. But if I say some shit that's not fair, I will go back to those people who were. And
that was new information, and I was just
breaking.
dropping it because I was.
Did your sugar spike? Maybe your sugar spike.
Oh yeah, no,
good call. Sugar totally spiked.
I saw that one.
Yeah, his sugar
that's the
spike.
newest.
I wish I wasn't the only person I know that hasn't had COVID, so I could blame it on like post-COVID.
Yeah,
because dude, anything can happen post-COVID now. Are we realizing this? Like, this is weird.
Yeah, like
people are still discovering new and interesting things. Like the CEO of Texas Roadhouse he experienced just mind-bending tinnitus after he had COVID, and it drove him insane, and he killed himself. Just recently, over the last couple days.
Wow. That's kind of hard. That's a hard reach.
How's the
right
financials?
There. That's a hard sell for me.
How are the financials at Texas Roadhouse?
I know, right? That's
Texas
a hard
Roadhouse
sell for me, man.
Texas Roadhouse is doing okay, but my question to you is because
COVID has decreased the amount of people in restaurants.
Right, that's true. But he, that is a valid consideration. But for just purely from a medical standpoint, the people that they consulted with for this article had indicated, and these medical professionals had said that it is entirely possible that if COVID did not cause tinnitus, that it could have exacerbated previously existing tinnitus. Would you say that is possible or likely?
It is possible. It's a very inflaming illness, and that's where a lot of the things that people have died or got significantly sick is too much inflammation, especially in pediatrics. So it's possible. I have not heard of that yet, but.
Well, and that's a big thing. There was that whole split between like, should you use Tylenol or aspirin for a while because of inflammation, because it could cause fever or certain symptoms to be more.
There is a certain
prevalent.
syndrome in pediatrics that you don't want to use aspirin for viral illnesses because you can get that ringing in the ears. You can't urinate. You can't
AKA
walk.
tinnitus.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's a whole syndrome you can get. So use Tylenol, Motrin. Be safe. Appropriate dosing. Also, I usually hear a lot of, the headache was still there, so then I doubled the amount of Tylenol that they can take, or double the, I took 4 Motrin instead of 2. It's like, then you're going to shut your kidneys down. So
right.
That's use medications as directed.
Of course.
Yep.
Always.
And
the more you know.
Right. The more you know.
So I'm over my guilt and my shame from my smack talking on last episode, and now we can talk about fun stuff again. Man. So, just to break the ice again, now that we got that awkward crap out of the way, joining us tonight.
Hey, how much does a polar bear weigh?
Depends. Is he starving? Is he on the Alaska island or the Anchorage Island archipelago?
Does he have COVID
in 2025? Is he?
How much does a polar bear with COVID weigh?
COVID polar bear.
Enough to break the ice.
Oh!
You can't. You guys didn't hear it just now.
Marcus reaction cam.
When you watch this on YouTube,
like, are you not entertained? And Marcus like,
right
no,
there.
I'm not
The
entertained.
perfect reaction for that joke. Right
Yeah,
there.
put the hat on.
Right, put the
Divert
hat
your
on.
eyes.
Wow, 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 wow.
No, I do want to
Strike
say, hey, you know what we should do? Right there.
I'm gonna keep fire. I'm gonna keep shooting.
I don't know how many boards we
I'm
have
gonna
over
keep
there.
fire. Oopsie. First of many.
No, Robert, we are here to talk about some stuff that you have going on. I was about to say we're here to talk about you, but then you'd probably be like, oh man, now I feel weird. So no, we're here to talk about Vets Disc Golf. Vets Disc Golf Club is an organization for, you guessed it, veterans who play disc golf.
Yeah.
But many more things than that. Obviously, it's an organization geared towards exposing veterans to the sport of disc golf and the many benefits that it can provide. And Robert is now among, in addition to being a member of the board of directors for Music City Disc Golf, he is also, correct me if I'm wrong, the president of the Middle Tennessee chapter of the Vets Disc Golf Club.
Right.
Is that correct?
Chapter leader, yeah.
So Robert's going to tell us a little bit about the overall vision of the organization, what its mission is, and how he got involved. And we're going to chat about that and many other things. And then here in a little bit, we're also going to bring on Jordan Eubanks, who is the founder of Vets Disc Golf. So we'll have both Robert here in studio and Jordan remotely to kind of talk about what is coming for Vets Disc Golf. Because I have to just say this at the outset, I can't think of many more subgroups among humanity that could reap more benefit from the things that disc golf provides than veterans. When you think about the statistics of suicide among veterans, PTSD, and you know, things that come along with that, I mean, those are all that's right in line with all the benefits that I have experienced and many other people. So, from your perspective, Robert, how did this whole thing start for you?
For me, I really just got lucky and kind of came across it one day on in Facebook. Just found Vets Disc Golf, and
Yeah, sorry to
scoot
you a little closer to the mic there.
right.
Yeah.
And started talking with Jordan a little bit, the founder, and he basically started. I'll let him go into how it got started on their end, but I started talking with him and was like, hey, have you thought about branching out, doing some chapters? And he said he had talked to a couple of other people about it and everything. And now we're up to 31 chapters across the nation and growing every day. We've got over 600 members on the national page. Here locally, we've got right at 60 members. I mean, it blew up real quick. It just started last year. Mm-hmm. And I mean, just from the get-go, once people found out about it, everybody's signing on, and it's a great thing. It's a great way to get the word out about the veteran suicide rate. That's our number one mission, is to bring awareness to mental health, especially in the veterans community. So many of our brothers and sisters come back from overseas and from being in the service with PTSD and all kinds of just stuff that goes on from being over there, and getting them out to play disc golf, getting them back out into the community. And it's a great way because you can start with a small group before you get into the larger groups. And once you start seeing that smaller group that is, your buddies, now you've got a whole new family, you've got a whole new group of friends that giving you the same thing that you had over there with your team overseas or where you were. And then you start seeing the larger picture. And so you start getting more into the community that way. And it just makes a huge difference. I know it helped me quite a bit, and most of the veterans you talk to that play disc golf, they're the same way. This has been the thing that I've needed, to get out and about.
Well, for me personally, and thank you for your service, by the way. And for me, obviously never served in the military, but one of the many benefits that I got from disc golf is I had a pretty serious injury weightlifting in high school in track, and it caused me many problems for many years, and it all stopped when I started playing disc golf. Just the core movement, whatever particular exercise, whatever particular brand of exercise you are getting from disc golf in terms of your core, for whatever reason, that just strengthened the muscles and the tendons and everything in the right way to where I stopped having these crazy spasms where I'd be laid up for a day, 2 days at a time. And that's just one of the first evident benefits that I experienced. But then on top of that, first that, then you get into, well, this is a competitive outlet, for especially for people that played sports, which a lot, I would say a huge percentage of men that go into the military played sports in school. Right. But then you come back from the military, and one of the things that is gone now and you don't have anymore is that outlet for competition. Mm-hmm. And then you just came from an environment where you are being funneled in a way where you're supposed to be uber competitive, like win or die type competitive. And now you have nothing to do with that drive. So there's that. Then you think about people that are going through depression, PTSD, suicidal thoughts and tendencies and stuff like that. The relationships, support structures.
Right.
That's the hugest thing about disc golf is all the relationships that you get out of it. So I can't think of another group that could be better served by being exposed to disc golf than veterans. So, I mean, you're doing the Lord's work, obviously. Go ahead and do the name dropping thing. Let everybody know some of the big names of people that are joining the organization already.
Well, I know we got Bobby
Cool
Daddy,
Slick Breeze.
Nice.
I almost said Bobby Brown. I was like, oh no, not Bobby
That is
Brown.
his name. That is his name, Bobby Brown.
Yeah, but still, it gives people a different person there. You know what? I have to get Jordan to go.
Seth Muncie.
I know Seth
from
Muncie
Disc Golf Strong is another one you mentioned.
Yep.
Robert Zavala.
Robert Zavala, the biggest of names.
Yeah.
The biggest of names, right?
Yeah.
I'm just thinking of you were talking about how you get in small and then you're like playing disc golf, then getting on the board. Now you're operations officer, aka vice president. It's just like the number of people that you're helping get into it. At first somebody's helping you get into disc golf, and now you're helping hundreds of people have a disc golf experience.
Right. Well, I had started playing disc golf, like I said, 30 years ago, and back when Seven Oaks was young.
Nice.
And I'd gone out there with some friends and played a little bit, and then I'd gone off into the military. And after during the military, I didn't know anywhere else to play disc golf. I didn't know that there was other places out there. So I didn't play at all then. And then after coming back and having to deal with issues, then I started remembering, oh yeah, there was that. So let me get back out there, and I would go out by myself. And I started meeting a few people and talked to Freddie. Freddie was,
nice. Love
Freddie. Freddie's a veteran as well. I would have him in the club, 100%. So started talking with him and was able to talk with him about some of the things that had happened, and get his input and hear about his life. And I start realizing, hey, mine's not, not so bad,
Yeah.
And so started getting more into the community around here with it. And got my kids into it, had them coming out with me, and just started growing and growing until, started playing doubles and night glow golf out at Seven Oaks, and, getting more into it and just meeting everybody and just finding out, like I said, just the community just grew for me.
Nice.
I think Music City Disc Golf is one of the best places in the world to play disc golf, and that may be a biased opinion, but, it's great people.
No, we have a lot of people that.
Yeah.
I feel like we got a lot of people that come from out of town and they just go to Oaks and the camaraderie, and it doesn't have to be a Music City disc golf event. It's just Tuesday night doubles. They show up at Oaks, and it's like your family, and you're talking to somebody, having a conversation, and you've never met them, and they're encouraging your shots, and you're like, oh, this is actually pretty fun. It's
right.
It seems like a lot of people miss it. They come from out of town, they come back like, yeah, man, I just had to come back here one more time.
Yeah.
We know.
Yeah.
What military service were you in? What branch?
I was in the Navy.
Okay.
Yeah. I was
Where
a
were
bosun's
you?
mate.
Oh.
I was stationed on board the USS Wasp, LHD-1. We ran missions all over in the Gulf, the Mediterranean. We did some ops in Norway, went all the way down to Haiti. So really kind of all over. And, lots of stuff you can't really get into, but I was underway for most of the time that I was out there.
Uh-huh.
And
yeah.
it was quite interesting. A lot of good times. Met a lot of people on the ship, which, the veteran community is so much like the disc golf community in that you're with some people and you may not even be with them for 6 months.
Yeah.
But in that 6 months time, you form such a bond with them. And it's the same thing with you get out on the disc golf course and you play around with somebody, and from there on, you're friends.
Yeah.
You could be a perfect stranger that you get on the card with, and the next thing you know, hey, you're Facebook friends, and they could live in California, they could live somewhere else, and you're automatically friends with them. So I think the veteran community and the disc golf community are very simpatico like that.
Yeah, for sure. And this is a good point to really kind of elaborate on, because I think some people may perceive a barrier to entry when it comes to the community aspect of it. I think a lot of this comes from my observation of just being at Seven Oaks or these various courses a lot, and you see a lot of people coming and going that you've never seen before. You've never seen on the other side of the table signing up for an event or checking in, and you're like, and there's a lot of them. Yeah. And you're kind of going, well, where are these people? Why are they not part of the club? Why are we not seeing them at the events? And so it's all about, you're trying to expose more people to it so that more people can have the benefit of it. And you've been at that for a while. And then now the veterans thing brings a whole new perspective to it, because this is a specifically targeted group of people that could use this kind of help. But right. Dr. Hoy, you're an example that we've pointed to on the podcast before, because when you first came around, I had no idea who you were. There was the 555, the 555 ace thing. Yeah. It caused all kinds of controversy, and everybody was talking about, who is this guy, and blah, blah, blah. And then, you showed up with me and Jay at MCO one year, and that was what started it all. Right. And now I have watched you not only become an amazing tournament director and administrator and promoter, but you've also just grown as a person. Yeah, you have evolved. I remember when I first met you and started hanging out with you, you were very reserved and very quiet and weren't really outgoing and engaging. But after the first 6 months of being around us, you were putting your foot down. You became the full Dr. Details persona, and the rest is history. And Robert, the same thing for you. You were around for a long time, never really fully plugged in, and then you decided you wanted to do some good. You ran for a spot on the board, and then the rest is history. Yeah. So to anybody that suggests, okay, first, if there is, and I'm going to switch gears from trying to shame people or gripe or rant or whatever. If you are somebody that is new to the sport and you're coming around our events and stuff like that, and you feel the desire or the need to get involved and do some good, and you feel like there's something that's stopping you or holding you back, and if you feel like you don't know how to proceed or how to begin that conversation, send me a message. Send me a Facebook message. If you're not on Facebook, I'll just get a hold of me. I'm not hard to find on social media. There's breadcrumbs everywhere.
Or in real life.
Or in real life. Right. Yeah. Somebody that you know knows how to find me. Yeah. Please come talk to me, because I understand that it is entirely possible that there could be a perceived barrier. Like somebody might not feel comfortable jumping into a group of people that's me and you three when we're in the middle of a conversation. You know what I mean? I can imagine it takes a lot for somebody to work up the courage to just not only just like come up and get in line and sign up and talk to us a little bit, but like ask if they can help. I fully appreciate that. Mm-hmm. If you do not feel comfortable volunteering in a public fashion, just contact me personally.
Right.
We'll find a way for you to get plugged in. The last thing in the world that I want to do is be a part of anything that prevented somebody from doing the good that they could. Everybody has got something in them that they can contribute to this game. And the reason that we all contribute to this game is because we believe strongly and we're passionate about what good it can do for people. We want more people to experience this. So, yes, we get stressed out and burnt out and we get the same stupid questions all the time. from you guys. But
Right.
we are here because we love you, and we want your life to be good. We want to share our life with you. We want the benefits of this to be available to more people, and that's the entire drive of it. But you think about it, obviously, you have a family, but if you were, one of countless veterans that are back from service and doesn't have a wife and kids, and doesn't have an occupation waiting for them, and doesn't have all of these things, I mean, like, I could imagine, like, in a very real way, disc golf could have saved your life.
Oh yeah, 100%, and that's the whole thing. And I'll tell everybody out there, if you are a veteran and you're struggling with anything, or if you know anybody that's a veteran that's struggling with some issues right now, this is one of the best outlets out there. Better than the drugs that they'll prescribe to you, and better than anything else. This gets you outdoors, gets you exercise, gets you competition, gets you camaraderie with fellow vets. Have them reach out to me directly. I can be found on Facebook under Robert Zavala.
Big Z.
Right. The club is Vets Disc Golf Club is the national club. Vets Disc Golf Club Middle Tennessee chapter is our local chapter. And if there's any of you ladies out there, and I'm a big advocate for the ladies and the juniors in the sport, and female veteran suicide. Females are 1.5 times more likely if you're a veteran female to commit suicide than just a regular civilian female.
Yeah.
So there's also the Vets Disc Golf Club Women's Corps, which is specifically just for women, because we all know that there's some ladies out there that they're not going to talk if there's a man around. They need to get their voices out there. Please check out the Women's Corps.
Nice.
They're good stuff. Very good stuff. And that's really kind of apropos too, because of all the current, focus on getting more women involved. And stuff. So,
did you find that when you came back from service, because one of the things I think about disc golf is it fills time. Like, you may have a lot of time, especially if you're not working or not full working, that it takes so many hours to play a round. So if you play one round a day, for at least that 3 hours, you're doing something.
Yeah, you're going to get your mind off of everything, anything that's going on. And when I started bringing my kids out there, it was to kind of show them the sport too. But, that got me something to do with my kids as well. So, if you got family, this is a great thing to do for every age. We've got people that are 80 years old out at Seven Oaks, on a regular basis, So, it's never too late to start. So if you've been out of the service for a long time, and come on and check us out.
Did you have that time where you had taught like your son, or and then he started beating you, or and then you're like, damn it, boy.
That took about 2-3 years maybe, and now he's out there on the course, and I'm lucky if he lets me win.
I bet he was beating you with a mid-range too, right?
Yep, it was, yeah. Yep. I'm out there throwing the best driver I can find, and he's like, "Here, Dad, look at this putter go."
Yeah.
Oh, thanks.
Damn it, boy.
He's got a good grip too.
Yeah.
Good God, this boy has a grip.
Right. It's all the ninja stuff. He's got the grip for sure.
How about, he's been asking me like forever. He had to stop asking me. It comes to like and check out the Ninja Park. I was like, I don't know, bro. I don't want to get embarrassed. I saw some of the videos. Like,
Wait, what?
The Ninja Park? You've never seen this?
No.
Okay, on the break, we're gonna educate you. Okay.
Okay.
It's quite a feet, dude. He's quite amazing.
He does the Ninja Warrior stuff.
Yeah.
I know. I've heard of the Ninja Warrior, but I didn't. I mean, I'm like, how do you train for this stuff?
Oh, you can come train.
He trains. He trains people. So
dude,
he trains a lot of kids.
I saw his abs one day. like railroads, dude. Like seriously.
Dang.
I saw him too. I said, that come from your mama's side of the family. That ain't over here, boy.
But yeah, man, he's always had like this really great grip and the ability to throw a mid range just as far as everybody else does their fairway or if not their driver.
Yeah.
Damn. Yeah, you just look at him like, wait, you broke the game. That's not
fair. He has long arms like Scottie Pippen, like super long arms.
Yeah.
Damn. Huh?
All that hanging and stretching, he just stretched his arms out.
Like Stretch Armstrong.
Stretch Armstrong.
That's the first go gadget arms. Yeah,
Right.
That's for all the young kids out there. Go gadget.
Right. Check
Inspector
it out.
Gadget. Is that
Combine
streaming?
Dude, I got that song stuck in my head at work the other day. I had no idea why. I was like at my desk and I started. I kept doing it all day. I caught multiple people looking at me like.
Now it's going to be in the stuck in the heads of millions of dollars.
Is that our break music?
Right.
I don't know if you can rap to that. I shouldn't even try. I would mess it all up.
Yeah.
Is it time for a break?
I think it is.
Once we start doing the
one, right?
Inspector Gadget,
Then we'll come back with another song. I started thinking about this. Maybe we ought to pick a song for each like opening and try to beatbox it and see if we can see where we can go with it.
Who's gonna make a suggestion? Make your suggestion. Comment on the video.
Somebody send us a Facebook message or something while we're well, you can't see this. This isn't live.
Justin Morris probably planted
we're gonna
something
beatbox
that's recording
again.
us in here. He's probably listening in.
You can go ahead and place your bets. The over under on whether or not we're gonna beatbox again. It's looking pretty favorable. But yes,
may the odds be in your favor.
I'm gonna go to Tinkletown and we'll be back in just a minute.
Marcus Cam.
On the podcast, the last cast.
What do you think of that Evader?
Vader's nice, very similar to the Getaway, but low pump, it's pretty stable finish on it. I can see it being a good fairway driver. Good.
What about that EMAC Judge you got there?
The micro beat's nice, and it's really comfortable in the hand. That's a really nice putter. That's a really, really nice putter.
What's your name? Where are you from?
I'm Josh Crumley. I'm from Elko, Tennessee. I play for Smoke Nut Disc. Shout out to everybody back home.
Boom.
Sarah, you're working entirely too hard. You need to enjoy yourself. She's smiling. She's smiling. You can't see it.
and he's like, I think he was mad at me because my breath smelled bad, and then he got like a sponsorship deal. From
No, he didn't. That's amazing.
Some kind of like breath freshener, something it has.
Well, ladies and gentlemen at home, my co-hosts were being difficult, so I went ahead and pushed the big red button without permission.
No.
So we're already recording. So did we have a song? We didn't pick a song. Are we gonna do that again, or are we just?
We'll let it go.
We'll let it rest
keep
for now. Okay.
Yeah.
Wait for the comments.
Yeah, what up, guys? What up? Obviously, welcome back from the break. I'm Will, Marcus, Dr. Hoy, Robert. You all met us just a moment ago. But we mentioned earlier, we are being joined tonight in the Sapphire Lounge by the founder of Vets Disc Golf, Mr. Jordan Eubanks. Salud to Mr. Eubanks. Golf snaps for you, Jordan, and for Vets Disc Golf. Welcome to the show. I'm super excited to have you here with us tonight. Robert, I've been excited about the vision for this whole thing since Robert told me about it. I know nothing about you. Where are you from? Where are you at? Are you in Guam? Or is it need to know? Hey, our safe word is pineapple.
I wish I was in Guam.
Yeah, our safe word is pineapple. So if you need, if it's on a need to know basis, you just say the word, just say pineapple, and we'll just change subjects.
No. So I'm originally from Ohio, but I'm currently in Norfolk, Virginia, the armpit of the Navy, as everybody knows it. So, but I've only got a couple more months left here. I transitioned over to the civilian life and join you guys.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Coming back stateside. What's your family life like?
He's in Virginia.
Do you have a wife and kids at home? Are they with you? Are you, how's your situation like? I mean, and COVID obviously probably makes everything weird too.
It does. So I actually am married and got 3 kids. I got twin daughters that are 5 years old. And then I got a son. It's a year and a half now.
Okay.
We're kind of in the middle of a big transition in our lifetime right now. I'm actually sitting in our 42-foot fifth wheel camper that we're renovating right now, and we're going to start full-time RV life once I get out of the military here in a couple months, and just going to see where it takes us.
Nice.
That's got to be exciting. Little change of pace,
a little nervous, but I know we are super excited about it. The kids are the most excited about it. My wife's kind of a minimalist anyways, and so she's excited, and I think I finally jumped on board the train or the camper and ready to give it a shot.
You've gone from 60-40 excited, terrified to like 40-60. So you're or vice versa. Scratch that, reverse it, however it works. Yeah, cool.
And I bet you're going to pass a lot of disc golf courses.
Oh, yes.
With the RV.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the plan. Always have UDisc open, seeing where the closest course is.
Thank you. Okay, so you're aware of the road trip planner function on UDisc, right? I forget which camera. You can see us on this one. Everybody else can see us on this one. So, okay, thank you. Because I mentioned this to everybody. Like, dude, you're going somewhere. You've done the road trip planner on UDisc, right? They're like, huh? That thing's awesome.
I was just thinking we're about to go to Emporia.
Canada. It's like if you could put into Google Maps prioritize disc golf courses, like that. That's what it does. It's dope. So Jordan, obviously, everybody knows you are in the military. Thank you for your service. What branch do you serve in?
Well, thank you. I'm in the Navy currently.
Okay. Yeah. Go Navy. My father and my grandfather and my wife's father and grandfather were all Navy. So I'm a Navy guy.
Grandmother, grandfather, and my father, military, Army, and nursing.
Nice. And what is your occupation? Are you allowed to say? Do you work at in what area of the military? Do you work in intelligence or technology, or what are you doing?
So I'm a helicopter crewman, specialized in rescue swimmer. So if you were to take kind of the crewmen from Black Hawk Down in the H-60s there, and then you combine them with the Coast Guard from like the movie The Guardian, just push them together.
Okay.
That's my job. So if you remember in the scene in Top Gun where the helicopter pulls Goose out of the water,
yes,
that's the so my job has evolved from that scene there. So
what about like
we
Ashton
started
Kutcher in
out
that
as-
Coast Guard movie? Because he was pretty badass.
Yeah,
that
so
was
the
like the most
Guardian?
badass
Oh,
Ashton
that's the
Kutcher ever
Guardian?
was. Was that okay? That's what he just said. I couldn't
That
remember
is
the name
the-
of the movie.
I-
Okay,
I-
cool.
I didn't
We're on the
remember.
same sheet of music then. Good to know.
Yeah, the Guardian.
Yeah. Okay, so basically you're Van Damme.
So I'd like maybe I haven't done a whole.
I mean,
lot
like,
of
you're
cool
on a
stuff
level.
like that kind of the movies.
Yeah. That
Well, my favorite saying that I've learned in my job is, "I wish I was as cool down on Earth as I am in the helicopter."
right?
So flying around, everybody sees the helicopter when
Superman.
you buzz by the beach. Everybody's waving at you, and it's like, I wish I was that cool down there.
Because you're sitting there with all your gear on, you got the cool headset and the helmet and the little walkie-talkie, and like you got all the like 17 guns and a Bowie knife.
It's like Superman and Clark Kent. He's like
Yeah.
Superman
Rambo
when he's
on
in
the
the
plane.
air, but as soon as he hits the ground, he's like Clark Kent. He's like, oh, hey, dude.
Your secret identity.
Grenades
Yeah.
around his neck on like a chain, like a Cuban link cut chain. No, I'm just kidding. I don't mean to make light of your occupation at all. We like to have fun.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, where did you grow up? Are you a military in your family? Was it just like something that you knew you were going to do from a young age? What was your childhood like?
Yeah, so it's something. Both my grandfathers served for a short period of time, back in the 50s. So I kind of had a passion to follow my grandfathers, but my siblings and my father and none of my uncles or anything like that served. But I kind of looked up to my grandfather in many ways, especially when he served in the military, in the Navy, hearing his stories, things like that. And then we grew up so just outside of Dayton, Ohio, and every summer we had the air show come to town, and I just fell in love with aviation and specifically the military aircraft that came to town. So since a very young age, as young as probably 6 to 8 years old, I knew that I wanted to be in aviation in the military. I'm still pursuing my ultimate goal of being a pilot in the military, but that's kind of just, I've always, since a young age, had that passion for aviation, specifically the military.
Okay, so I knew when you mentioned Tom Cruise and Top Gun that you were you were on track for that. That's you want to be Goose or not Goose. Goose isn't the one that died, is he? I can't remember. I was really
Goose
young.
is
No,
the one
Goose
that
did
died.
die.
Okay, yeah. Well, not
Spoiler
Goose. Then.
alert.
Maverick. You're gonna be Maverick. You're gonna be Maverick, bro. Also, excellent disc from Dynamic Disc. You guys check out on Maverick next time you're signing up for a tournament. But no. So that's what you is that always like you wanted to fly? That was your thing.
It's always been my thing. Just watching the Blue Angels every summer, or whether it was the Thunderbirds or anything like that, and then throw movies on top of it, the Guardians, the Black Hawks Down, even some of the scenes from Full Metal Jacket.
Yeah.
It blows my mind, some of the things that you can do within aviation, especially flying in a military role.
Yeah, for sure. And what better way, even if you're not super stoked about the grenade necklace, what better way to get into flying than to go through the military, because they kind of pretty much paint a road for you.
Yeah.
If you have the qualifications, of course. That's awesome.
How does that work? Like, what do you have to? So most of the time it goes through like you're working on an aircraft and then you can start flying, or some people just jump right into that, or what are the hurdles that you have to get through, or just a couple of them, or?
Like, do you have are there physical, in terms of there's physical
to
requirements?
be a pilot.
To
To
fly.
be a pilot. Yeah.
Military pilot.
Yeah, so there's a big long actual health physical that goes into it. They check everything, just your height. So your seated height, the length of your hips to your knees can disqualify you for certain platforms, things like that. Obviously, your eyes have to be within a certain parameters, correctable to 20/20. even your weight. So like if you're below a certain weight, you can't fly. You have to be between this weight and this weight to fly in a platform. And then there's probably about 2 to 2.5 years of training that you have to do. It starts out in initial just learning how to fly like a normal Cessna aircraft, and then it just slowly gets advanced and more advanced depending on what pipeline you get selected for.
Man.
Okay. So you said you are a helicopter crewman now, and I'm gathering that ultimately you want to be a fighter pilot. Where are you on that evolution, on that timeline? How's that? How's that working out?
So I'm in between two processes right now. Process number one is separating from the Navy. Just at the end of my contract, come September, I'm officially out of the Navy, but I'm also currently applying for Air Force Officer Training School. So my package just got submitted last week, but the results won't come out until August. So kind of playing the waiting game right now on that. But hopefully by the end of this calendar year, I'll be starting my journey through the Air Force and becoming a pilot in the Air Force.
And if you were a woman, I wouldn't ask you this, but how old are you? Because you look young.
I actually turned 30 this July.
Okay, so you are young. Yeah. Man.
Wait, 30? Oh my god.
One of those.
Yeah.
Like, no, I'm just...
Dude, rock on, bro.
Yeah.
Like, dude,
Yeah.
you are living one hell of a life for sure. Yeah. I mean, bare minimum, whatever else you could say about what you're doing. I mean, like you're going to have stories to tell your grandkids for sure.
Yeah.
So when did disc golf happen to you? How did that occur?
So my first duty station was out in San Diego. I got transferred out there in the spring of 2013. And actually some of before Morley Field was packed back in 2013, but now Morley Field is insane. Okay, so but back in 2013, a couple coworkers played disc golf. I was a brand new guy. I was a nugget. They brought me in and was like, "Hey, you should come play disc golf with us." I was like, "Okay," and fell in love with it. So that was back in 2013, and then I got married, and then several deployments later, just wasn't playing anymore. Got transferred over here to Virginia in 2018, and one day we were sitting around talking about, I don't know what, but disc golf came up in the conversation. And then it was like, wait, hold on. You play disc golf? Wait, you play disc golf? And there was a group of about 7 of us that didn't realize any one of us played disc golf. We're like, that's it. After we all get off work, we're going over to the disc golf course.
Like most guys go to happy hour. We're going to the course.
Yeah.
It was 2008. Yeah. Yeah. So 2018, about summer of 2018, really got into it with a couple coworkers. And I've been playing multiple times a week ever since.
Dude, that is incredible. I mean, I'm impressed on 2 counts. One, that you discovered disc golf in the middle of this tumultuous, like movie-worthy lifestyle journey that you're taking. I mean, because most of us discover it because we're stoned in the park walking around and we bump into a basket and we're like, what the hell is this thing? I'm saying us, but you know, all the proverbial us.
This is
but
the weirdest
you know, I'm just saying, in terms of all the ways people discover disc golf, this guy is on deployment. He's like dodging bullets and nuke missiles, and he's like, "Hey, what's up, guys? Y'all ever heard of disc golf?" Everybody in the platoon, in the trench, in the foxhole is like, "Dude, I've been playing for like 6 months. I'm hooked. we got. Let's build a course right now. Let's take these guns and take them apart, and let's make a basket." And so that's just incredible. But also, I mean, you're talking about 2017, 2018. You discovered disc golf, and now you are creating this. I mean, and I'm going to go ahead and sound like I'm bowing at your feet for a minute here, but knowing the way things work and the way things progress and evolve in the sport of disc golf, I know that this is going to be revolutionary. This is going to change lives, This is going to improve so many people's lives, and it's also going to be incredibly impactful just for the sport of disc golf. And I know that 5 years from now, what you have started is going to be just this momentous thing that you never imagined. And so I feel really lucky that I got you on a podcast right now, because Terry Miller is like way behind the curve on this.
Right.
Shout out, Terry. Love you,
Yeah.
buddy. That's super impressive, because you've been in the game for a couple years basically. And at what point did it click for you that, hey, this has been huge for me in my life. I need to make this a thing for people, for veterans that are struggling in all of the areas of life that this is a benefit for. What was the evolution there like?
So, well, first off, before I dive into all that.
Yeah, that was a long question. Take your time.
Yeah. So for starters, you're my first podcast, so congratulations.
Nice.
Taking that one from me.
Exclusive.
Also, it hasn't quite hit me yet that the level that this has taken off to. I mean, we've only been around I started the Facebook page February 2nd of last year. So it's been 13 and a half months. And it's something that's surreal that, like, I tell my wife all the time, like, I can't believe that this is what I created. And talking with people and just the humility that it brings, that to know what I've impacted is just, I mean, it makes me speechless for sure. But the way it started was, I mean, the group of guys that I started playing with, there was 4 of us that consistently went out, and we just got to talking, like, how cool would it be if we got more people to show up to these local events that were veterans instead of the arch rival Bayvillians or whatever they call themselves. And like, let's get this big. Let's trying to make other people come out just at the next squadron over, the squadron over here. Like, let's go knock on doors and try to get people to come out. So that's kind of where it started with. And then we had a local guy here that donated about 25 or 30 discs and was like, hey, you should give these out to your buddies, and just instead of you guys going to buy discs, here's a starter pack for you guys to pass out. And then it turned into us receiving more donations from all across the country. We've given about, I think 42 is the last count. I've got 42 starter packs that we've given out to other vets to play the game.
And that's just there.
And then it just started evolving to people asking, how can they get this? Yeah. People asking, how can I get something started for my local area? And then it was like, well, let's start chapters. So then, I mean, I think we've got 31, 32 chapters now. It's just phenomenal the way it's exploded. Over 800 members on the Facebook page in just over a year.
That's incredible.
I'm truly speechless about it all.
Well, I mean, that speaks to...
I never imagined that it would do that.
That speaks to the value and the worth of the idea. And I know full well how once you give an idea legs, how it runs off on its own. And so I know a little bit of this you never thought about. It was never, a part of the plan for it. But, I mean... I'm always trying to take little pieces of the conversations that we have with our guests and present it to our audience in a way where, it can be a lesson, because there are so many times, right now we're experiencing an unprecedented period of growth in the sport, and there's all kinds of new young people coming into the game and trying to get plugged in and get involved. I mean, dude, I cannot overstress the importance of an idea. Like, and there have been so many things that have gotten better for Nashville disc golf, because ideas that I had that used to just float away, now I have Dr. Hoy, and he's usually got a phone or a computer in his hands, and he captures them, and then I can remember that they happened, and then we can work on, hey, would this be actually, can we make it real? And the power of an idea is huge. I mean, you guys that are just starting, if you're seeing a hole in the game. Everybody's throwing around hashtag grow the sport. If you're seeing a hole or a place where disc golf can do some good, there's your in. Figure out how to make it happen. What resources do you have available to you? Like your local club is the first place to start. So kind of a side tangent there, but this is, I can't even, I mean, you're talking about all the areas that the PDGA and disc golf as a whole is focusing on promotion right now in terms of just, making it available to everybody. We're focusing on women. We're focusing on people of different ethnic backgrounds. We're focusing on disabled people. We're focusing on kids, and veterans is right in there. And I know that that Dynamic Disc is passionate about that. We've got the Veterans for Vets events that have been rolling out for the last couple of years. You just ran one not too long ago.
Yep.
I mean, their basket's the veteran.
Is it Vets for Veterans or Veterans?
No, I'm
for
saying
vets?
their basket name is veteran.
Right.
It's on the basket.
Yeah, well, I mean, Veterans Day, the holiday, started in Emporia, Kansas. That was where it was founded.
That's right.
So, this is just perfect timing. It's like the stars aligning and all of this. And have you had the moment? I know we've talked about on the podcast before. Like when people come up to you and recognize you for what you're doing, it's super weird the first couple times. Have people have you had to have that weird, awkward moment where somebody's trying to give you a compliment or some accolades for what you're doing, and you're like, "Oh yeah, okay, I don't know. Who do you think I am?"
The last couple tournaments I've gone to here in the local area, and they see people wearing the shirts or the bag tags, and some of the locals now that see me out and about come up and just thank me for what I'm doing. And for me, it's just, it's awkward because I feel like I haven't done much. I feel that a lot of the work that's gone into it is just the group in general. So I'm humbled by it for sure. So maybe awkward's not the right word, but I'm just,
oh, it's definitely one of the right words. There are other words that are equally right, but that's one of the words. I know the feeling, and because this it also speaks to a larger point for the audience's benefit. But in my experience, and I've been at this a while now, the people that have success and have staying power are the people whose goals do not include those accolades. They don't include those moments of recognition. The goal is how do we do the most good? How do we take what we have and do the most good with it? And the people whose main motivation is those are the people that experience success and whose vision get to see their vision become reality. And it's, I to just say, screw it. I mean, it's disappointing how rare it is to find people in this industry working in promotion and administration and growing the sport that are 100% dedicated to the greater good. It's rare. I mean, everybody's always trying to get a little slice of the pie. Everybody is. Even me, you know what I mean? Like, I'm framing myself as this altruistic saint of disc golf, but no, I mean, like, the goal has always been eventually to create a space where I can earn a living doing what I'm passionate about. But that, for me, even that is, if I didn't have to spend 8 hours plus doing something I don't care about, and I could put all that time into disc golf, imagine how much more good I could do. Imagine how much more awesome stuff I could pull off. So you are going to continue to reap the benefits of what you are investing into the sport for decades, because I don't see this going away unless you just put the kibosh on the whole thing. I mean, and
I don't think any of the rest of the board will let him do that.
Right.
He's because stuck at
and
this
that's
point.
that's another thing. At what stage did you really, really dig your heels in and start applying some structure and some organization? Like, when did you realize that you needed to draft bylaws and you needed to apply a framework? And really, because obviously at some point, it goes from an idea to how are we really going to apply this? What was your thought process like through that?
To be honest with you, I was clueless about the whole thing. I thought I was starting a Facebook page for people to come and join and promote. Whereas once I started getting some of the people with a disc golf leadership experience, the Roberts, the Jimmy Nicholsons down in Georgia, the Dave Craigs down in Florida, the Aaron Moores that's now in Vegas, talking with them and understanding how huge this could get is when I realized I need their help. They're the ones with the experience and the knowledge to be able to help me. And really, it's been them giving me the guidance on everything. And that kind of started last summer, probably about 4, maybe 5 months after I started the Facebook page, when everybody was wanting to start chapters and was like, hold up, I need to pull the reins in here a little bit because I don't know what's going on here yet.
Right.
I don't know how to proceed. So that's when I think I reached out to Jimmy was one of the big ones at first. Robert's experience with the Music City Disc Golf Club and everything like that. And then Dave Craig down in Florida were kind of the 3 big guys that I went out to first and just leaned on them for their experience. And that's it's just been a natural process of us taking it to where it's at today.
So, and this is a small question, but just out of curiosity, what was your go-to resource for finding people that you could kind of triangulate in specific regions as resources for the growth of it? Is there, I mean, because obviously you're looking for people that are both disc golfers and veterans, and was there a certain place you went to first? Like if you were targeting, was there a list of cities or regions that you looked at and like figured, hey, let's find the biggest club and let's talk to this? How did you find the people that are now your board?
No, I think it was all natural with the communication that we had via Messenger or Facebook, things like that. It was a natural, just a instinct thing that their knowledge, their expertise stood out amongst everybody else. I mean, at the point last year, probably summer of last year, we probably were sitting about 300 people. And I mean, those 3 people specifically stood out above everybody else. So it was something that just naturally happened. And so there wasn't like a vetting process through everything. It was truly something that just naturally took place.
We call it
they
the
stood
Big
out
Z
and
effect.
we gravitated
around
together.
here.
Yeah, also known in some circles as a God thing, or meant to be type deja vu-ish, universe unfolding as it should, stars aligning type thing. I mean, and so much of what happens in disc golf, I mean, just about 90% of it, honestly. Like, even if you are 2 months away from an A tier and you lose your course and your title sponsor backs out and you're in, like, basically for a tournament director, worst parts of the Bible nightmare scenario. Like, even then, like at this point, doing it as long as I have, I find myself in that situation. I don't freak out anymore because I know, like, hey, let's think about this. Let's bring in a couple people with good brains to talk it over, and the solution will present itself because the universe has a way of unfolding as it should. And I always, honestly, and I've said this a lot of times, it's almost like a catchphrase, but like disc golf makes the world go round. I've run into so many people that I have connections with from my personal life outside of disc golf and realized that they played disc golf like much later than I originally knew them. And they played disc golf then and I had no idea, but now it's like this whole new level of our relationship. So it's like, I don't know, it's this tangled spider web of interconnectivity, and you're becoming a main thread in that web. That's and you definitely are pulling in the right people. I know that I get hit up by people all over the country that are trying to do some renovations with their clubs and bring back some, long time historic events and stuff like that. Just asking, like, how do you do the tags for Music City and stuff like that? And so I always think it's awesome that, one, working with your local club is a great way to not only learn how a tournament works, learn how a club works, learn all the administrative procedural stuff, but it's also a good springboard, because if you can walk into a bad situation, improve it, and establish a reputation for doing a good job in those regards, well, that the more you network, the more relationships you make, the more people consider you when they have an opportunity and they need somebody that's good at something, and you know what? I know this guy. Then you become that person. And kind of to spin it back to where we're at, that's like how I feel like so many, it's got to be an overwhelming majority of veterans that are dealing with, the atypical, what you hear about all the time, disillusionment of coming back into a world that they used to be a part of, but now their entire view on existence has changed due to their service. And now they're trying to reincorporate themselves back into it, a totally different existence. It's
normal
just
society. Yeah.
People like civilians do not understand. We can only imagine what that has to be like on an experiential level. So, do you have any, like, I don't know, I'm thinking like infomercial style. Are there any testimonials that you could share of like personal stories of people that the club has impacted, or that people that have been exposed to the sport because of the club and kind of improved their life?
Yeah, well, first off, me personally, disc golf has essentially saved my life. That's the idea behind the mental health aspect of it, is promoting that. Especially, everybody hears about 22 veterans a day commit suicide, and trying to decrease that number and things like that. So giving that awareness out there is kind of the number one plug. And we have had several people reach out to us and talk about how maybe not our club specifically reached out to them to save them, but at the same time, they use disc golf as that remedy and that stress relief, that mental release, to get their mind back to a healthy state. That it's personally done that for me over the last 3 years as well. So I can say personally what disc golf means to me in the veteran community. I know it's affected other people. I know that a person reached out to me recently and said that this disc golf club gave them purpose in life. So they were kind of at a point in their life where they were kind of getting of the age where things were starting to slow down, and they don't need to work anymore. So they don't have, they're just trying to fill their time. And disc golf and this club has given them purpose to continue working.
Direction.
So that was awesome. And then the other thing that stands out to me, I know when we were giving away starter packs last summer, a kid had just got done with boot camp. He was, he's a man. He's 18, 19 years old.
Kid to us.
But he rekindled. Yeah, exactly. He rekindled his relationship with his father, who was also a vet, through disc golf because of our club giving them starter packs. So that was, I think, one of the more touching stories that have come out about this, that, hey, I rekindled a relationship that may or may not have ever been rekindled through disc golf. So
I've always said the same thing about disc golf, where it's that happy medium where you're out with a group of friends and you can actually talk about almost anything you want to because of the environment that you're in, how relaxed it is, how non-competitive you can use this sport to your advantage, because you can take the sport and be competitive with it. I always say it's the last sport you can go pro in, because after high school and college, what else can you go pro in? And it makes me think about that commercial where you see Paul and Beth and a bunch of random younger kids talking about why they play the sport of disc golf, and Paul and Beth goes, I do it for my job, and other people they go and they say they do it just for activities or getting out and having fun. And I think that they should add a little bit to that commercial for veterans, because I think that that's one group of people that were not necessarily showcased in that commercial, that definitely need to be showcased and definitely could be added to that commercial quite easily, to show that it's something that helped a veteran like yourself or anybody else out there do something with their time that they could not necessarily think of before. When they found this sport, their eyes were open, their whole world was changed in some respects. So I definitely think that we can add something like this to that particular commercial if we can reach out to those people. And just going back to the whole conversation, this disc golf is just like an environment where you can get to know people that you haven't known before, and grow as a person, get to meet somebody, help that other person grow, and actually do something meaningful with your time, whether it be losing weight or, getting out and joining a club.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
I had a question, Jordan, about when you said you were knocking on doors when you first were kind of getting people in your own thing. Like, what were some of the reactions? How are you convincing some of these people? Like, wait, you're throwing frisbees, man? What do you like? I want to know some of the
Sounds like the
ways ways
you just say
you
disco?
try to convince
Right.
ways
Sounds
you
like
try
the,
to convince people.
The elevator conversation.
Yeah.
So the easiest way was to you find the group of people that like to golf, and in the military, that crowd's actually pretty big. So it's like, hey, instead of going and spending, $40-$50 to go play golf this afternoon, why don't you come with us and throw frisbees and play the exact same sport but with a frisbee? And they're like, what? And I was like, yeah, and it's free. As long as we stay away from the courses where you got to pay, we'll stay at the local course and it's free. And they're like, I don't know how I feel about this, but I'll give it a shot since it's free. Next thing you know, they've got their entire shop playing it.
Yeah. Right.
So.
And 40 or 50 disc in their bag.
Yeah, I was wondering, and kind of tying along with that, what disc did you start with, or what are some of your kind of favorites you kind of gone to?
So I started out when I first learned out at Morley Field. I had a Star Plastic Beast, a Soft Challenger, and a I can't remember what my mid-range, but I had a mid-range that I just randomly bought from the pro shop there at Morley. And those are the only 3 discs I had until I came here and then started, everything got rekindled. And, oh geez, I probably have 150 discs now between what I keep in my trunk. I got 2 full bags that I keep, one Prodigy bag and one dynamic disc bag, which, I mean, they're all mixed what's in there, but just in case I run into somebody and I'm like, look, I already have an entire set. It's 25 discs. You don't need anything. Just come play with me. So I always keep 2 full bags in my car. And then I've got another box full of discs in my garage. But I'd say my go-to right now has to be, I'm really loving my zone right now. I got the Z-Blend zone that I'm really in love with right now. I've got what's another one? My go-to putter right now is a Deputy. What else? Oh yeah.
Oh, we had a Brian Earhart zone.
Oh yeah, hold
zone,
it up,
baby.
check
Watch
it
out
out
for the zone.
Zone. There it is.
Tour series.
Yeah, that's.
Shout out to Bearheart.
Nasty.
Love that guy. Miss you, Brian.
Love
you.
Yeah.
So you got the Deputy.
The Sapphire right now is kind of my go-to.
Sapphire.
Sapphire Lounge.
Fairway
Right.
/ distance driver. I'm actually throwing my Sapphire as far as I'm throwing my Corvette right now.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
it's frustrating.
I keep
but
shoving sapphires into people's
those are
hands.
some
They're
of
like,
the-
"Hey, how do I throw 400 feet?" I'm like, "There you go."
Yep.
Awesome.
Yep.
So you got any?
That's it. I mean, but I've got everything. I got a little bit of Prodigy, a little bit of Innova, a lot of dynamic disc, and a lot of Discraft.
Nice.
So, how long have you been stationed where you currently are, or how long is typical for you to be stationed in one spot?
For my job, the first contract is usually 5 years. You'll be at that one spot for 5 years. And then every time after that, it's 3 years. So I am approaching 3 years at my current current duty station where I'm an instructor. But I'll be here for a little over 3 years because I'm separating instead of re-enlisting.
Got you. Okay.
So about 3 years is average.
Yeah, I was just kind of curious as to how operationally, how I don't know how to put this. How much of a foundation is necessary? It seems, as this thing grows and as it becomes more global, it's going to be, the requirements of keeping it running. I mean, obviously now you have a board, so I guess you've got all the right people in the right places. So I just know in the nature of having an occupation that is transitive by nature, I mean, that kind of makes it hard to really put in roots for any kind of a idea or vision that's not directly related to that. So I guess that was my curiosity.
Definitely something that, so it's definitely something that I'm been very wary of, because I know that the military is kind of my career right now. Even though I'm getting out of the Navy, I have full intention of coming back into the military. So laying that foundation through the national board has kind of been very, it's been very important to me to make sure that that's set up. And I have full faith in all these guys to do what they need to in order to continue this club. And that's something that I'm seeing right now, dealing with some family matters that I can't focus my time as much as I want to in this club. But between Jimmy, between Robert, between Dave and Aaron, they're all crushing it, they're actually continuing to grow it. So I have full confidence in the national board right now to continue the growth. Even when I go into the Air Force and I've got to do 2.5 years of training, do a deployment or whatnot. I mean, these guys are crushing it.
Yeah. And, we touched on it earlier about not being after the accolades, but you also kind of skirted around it. The reward, like when you are motivated by the greater good, to be able to, I know the first time I ever ran a tournament, for me, it was like watching the people, like there was a handful of people out there playing disc golf for their first time, and just watching them falling in love with it, knowing that you created that opportunity. That is a huge reward. And even, I'm sure obviously your occupation is going to pull you away from time to time, and you will not be able to be involved or maintain the same role, but you're always going to be able, wherever you are, to look at what's going on with this organization and know that you planted a seed that has taken root, and you've brought it into the world to be shared by other people, and now no matter where you go, you're still leaving the world better than you found it actively, even though it's passive. I don't know.
Absolutely.
I kind of time phrase warped that whole thing.
A little time warp there.
Little time warp.
Yeah.
Is it almost time for a tip?
Is it time for tip of the week?
I like it.
Give him the spiel, Marcus.
All right, Mr. Eubanks. If you can give us a tip, I guess in this situation we should go for vets.
Yeah.
A tip for any vet that's not necessarily learning about form, but they're just getting into the sport. Just something you tell them personally from your experience how to get going, and just give us a tip. What do you think that these vets out here should know?
All right, put me on the spot there. I would say
Big spot,
my initial gut tells me that you got to keep with it. Do what you got to just keep with it. Eventually things are going to click, and before you know it, you're going to be doing things you never thought. And that's kind of what's kept me going, is just every day, just keep with it. Just keep going.
I like that.
That's a good tip.
That is good stuff. Good advice. I was actually giving that same advice to somebody today. The guy, much like Michael Douglas Holland, had a way too long of a name, and but I rarely get, for anybody that's ever tried to send me a Facebook message and we've never communicated before, if I've never responded to you, it's because I don't know if it's an iPhone thing or a Facebook Messenger thing, but I'll open it, I'll just randomly notice, there's a message request from 8 months ago.
Oh, yeah, they're in a weird section. It's so hard to find.
It's like kind of hard to find. It's like trying to find out what the new criteria for the Female Player of the Year award is on the PDGA.com.
Wow.
Rim shot.
Hey,
Pineapple.
I think it's sugar spiking again.
Yep. Gotta eat. Wait, you know what we normally do here?
You know what, pineapple? There you go. Pineapple.
But where was...
Sure, we going with that?
You were talking to somebody today with
okay. So somebody hit me up on Facebook Messenger, and I actually noticed the request in a timely fashion, and it was somebody that had sent me a friend request, and I did the customary vetting of making sure they had at least 50 mutual friends in common and all that stuff, and then accepted it. Whatever. I don't know when this happened, but it happened. And then I got a message from him, hey, thanks for adding me. Just wanted to introduce myself and say that me and my friends have our own YouTube channel. It's called Deep Roots Disc Golf, and we would love for you to check it out. We're not on your level by any means, but it's, you know, it's kind of the same thing. It's just a bunch of friends. We're trying to document our experience with disc golf. And I was like, dude, that's awesome. I was like, I'll definitely check it out. So everybody, go check out Deep Roots Disc Golf. But yeah, that's, you know, that's the whole thing is, I don't know why I got onto that subject, but that was the end of that story.
When people hit you up.
Yes. So people hitting you up, how do you do this kind of thing? Yeah. Full circle.
Boom.
Right. How many requests a day are you getting now, Jordan? Or new people? I mean, I know with the Vets Disc Golf team, you know, my Facebook is blowing up with new members, new friends.
Good call on mentioning the team, because I was gonna ask about that. What's the new direction? Because now you have a team, and what does that entail?
Right.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Robert. Finish your.
We got Team Vets Disc Golf.
Just to make this question as complicated as possible, we're going to ask it in tandem.
Right. But no, I mean, just my question was, you know, how much are you getting hit up now? I mean, you know, every time we're spreading the word out, you know, we're saying, you know, this started with Jordan Eubanks, you know, and Virginia. And so people are probably looking you up. I know you've got also the way your Facebook page is, Vets Disc Golf Club, Jordan Eubanks. You're probably getting even more requests. How has that happened since we really got this thing going?
Yeah, so I probably get, on a bad day, probably 2 to 3 requests. On a good day, 10 to 15 requests, and that's just friend requests. And then on top of that, another probably 20 notifications from everybody that's posting in the different chapters or the pages and things like that.
Right.
Or whatnot. And then I probably get, I don't know, maybe probably 3 to 4 messages a week just about people hitting me up about the club and things like that. That kind of goes into the whole team dynamic of it, or the team question there. We had an envision of starting a team. As far as we don't want to call it a sponsorship, but it's more of an ambassador role to just represent Vets Disc Golf Club at tournament, to wear the logo and things like that. Eventually down the road, we'd like to actually put out a sponsorship kit where they'll get their t-shirts, they'll get discs with the stamps on it and things like that. I don't know if we'll reach that level this year, maybe next year, the year after, but
we're getting close.
We're getting close, and it's all about just getting the word out is kind of what it is. And we just picked, I think we have 35, if you count the national board, 30 plus the 5 board members. So we've got 35 team members or ambassadors for the club to just represent the club and get the word out when they go play tournaments or whatever. We did put, when they accepted it, they had to agree to do so many events a year, whether that was playing or hosting or clinics, anything. So there's a commitment there on their behalf to actually spread the word. So it's more of an ambassador role, I think, is what we described it as, more of than a sponsorship role. So that's where that team mentality comes from, or that team concept came from.
Right. Yeah. I want to shout out to the local team right now. Myself, just being a board member, I was lucky enough to be on the team. Don't know that I would have been picked otherwise, but hey, Jeff Casalina, John Lynn, Philip Sanders, Nicole Casalina. I think that's it. I think we've got those for the local area. Mm-hmm. So we were pretty blessed to get some good sponsorship locally. So.
Well, I mean, like I said, this is going to be huge. People everywhere. I mean, and I would wager to say that the majority of people that you interact with on a daily basis, I mean, I'm saying when I say you, I mean we, like, you never know there is not a type of person who has served in the military. I mean, and you might have like some kind of visual archetype of a person that is a veteran in your mind, But you never know who you're interacting with on a daily basis in your comings and goings that has served in the military. And that kind of points us in the direction of you never know the story of the people that you're interacting with in random situations.
Right.
And so try not to be an asshole, because you never know what that person is going through. And you could have an opportunity, a very singular opportunity to be an influence for the good in somebody's life, or push them off the edge just because you're having a bad day. I don't know. I mean, that's part of this whole thing is people with and you know, even just the word mental illness carries a stigma, but you know, it could mean a whole lot of things. But if you are perfectly of sound mind and body, and you go to serve in the military overseas, and you experience some crazy shit, and you come home and you're all messed up, where do you go? You don't know, and most people suffer in silence, and they don't know who to reach out to for help, and they feel like they're going to burden somebody if they do ask for help. This is why disc golf is so huge in this capacity, is because it doesn't require a person to burden anyone with their problems. All you got to do is bring your problems, bring your shit, and offer it up to the disc golf gods.
Throw it against a tree.
Right. Throw it into a tree or 5 on the same hole.
Right.
You know, and then into the band on the basket.
That's just you, Will.
Because we've been playing for 9 years and we still can't make a pot.
Oh man, the audio levels are going to be.
Right.
Nope, I got a noise gate and a limiter and all that stuff for
Just
that.
drive
Now.
for show, bro.
We're on another level. We
Just
leveled
drive
up,
for
bro.
show.
I can yell all I want now.
Yep.
It's great.
Damn.
We got it.
It's liberating.
So
And I can
I'm
pound
so
on the
happy
table.
you
I
can-
realized that because I pounded on the table during the last episode because I was so pissed. And then I was like, oh, God, I pounded on the table. But then I listened back to it and I was like, no, we good. I can pound. I can yell. I can do all that stuff.
I think you may need to play some disc golf, man. You seem a little tense.
Right. You seem a little
tense. Banging on tables. And,
Podcasting
Come
does
on.
that to me,
Yeah.
man. Plus, he
Here,
gave us that
I've
big
got some
old
disc.
setup. He was like doing a play-by-play of the best scenes of Top Gun at the very beginning of the interview.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm kind of in that zone now. Like,
We should show Jordan at this. Show
The
Jordan at
danger
this.
zone.
yeah, pass the disc or hold it up. There's a camera right there.
Is that the one? Which one can he see? Can he see that camera?
That one.
You
Well,
can-
yeah, Jordan can
Yeah.
see that one.
There.
Sorry,
You
that
gotta
one.
show
up
him
there.
that one.
Highway to
do you think about
the
this?
danger zone. Dun, 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 dun.
You see it?
It's I don't know how you throw that one.
You a fan of Baby Yoda, or Grogu?
I think everybody is.
Or Baby Yoga. No.
Baby.
I have spoken.
Yeah, that's my favorite
No,
guy.
spoken have I?
We have spoken at length about awesome stuff. So, okay, so pretend for a moment that I am random Joe off the street. I'm watching this podcast or listening to it, and I'm hearing all this stuff that sounds like it's the answer to my prayers. What do I do? Where do I go? What's the best place? Facebook? Is there somewhere for people that aren't on Facebook? What are the online resources there?
Yep. So we have a website, vetsdiscgolfclub.com. So I believe is the URL there. You can Google us if you don't need a Facebook to find us on Facebook.
Okay.
You just need Google. You can Google Vets Disc Golf Club and just click on the link. You can still see the page there. We do have a website we're working on. We do have an Instagram. I believe the handle is Vets Disc Golf Club with an underscore in between each word there.
Okay.
And the website should be
Those
up
are
at the end
kind
of
of
the
our-
week here, according to the last
Yep.
thing that we saw. It should be up here real soon.
Yep. So, and then if all else fails, if you're off the grid and just no internet use, anything like that, I'll give you my phone number and we'll always stay
But
in
don't do it on the podcast. That's a bad
that's a
move.
bad
Don't do
idea.
that.
Not on the
Don't do that on the
podcast.
podcast. Just sorry to cut you off, but let you know before you got too far there. Yeah, don't do that.
You can find them on Facebook. Vets Disc
Because
Golf
I almost
Club,
did it
Jordan
earlier
Eubanks.
before we had you on the phone, or maybe while we had you on the phone. I almost did it. I was like, dude, please just don't call me. Dude, Jordan, you are doing awesome work, man. Thank you for being you. Thank you for your service. Thank you for doing what you're doing for disc golf. You're providing a service and filling a void that I don't think even you completely understand, and maybe not for years to come. So it's been a sublime pleasure having you join us in the Sapphire Lounge this evening. Thank you for
breaking his podcast
taking
cherry
time.
at that. So.
Yeah, and your first breaking your podcast cherry.
Yeah.
And Robert, thanks for setting that up. Thanks for being here. I've been trying to get you in this piece
go.
of shit for the last how long?
A few months here, at least. I think we started
Wait,
talking.
wait,
we
you
started
popped two
talking
cherries
about
in one night?
at least 2 months ago.
We popped 2 cherries in one night.
Hey,
Making history, making the world go around. Disc golf podcast, baby.
Just another Monday.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm definitely want to thank you guys for allowing me to join you guys. I'm humbled by it. I was super nervous for it. Sitting there stalking you guys on Facebook and seeing that, Scott Stokely and E-Mac.
Name dropping.
Yeah.
It's kind of surreal for me. So to thank you for the experience. It's been awesome. And I look forward to it some more.
No, man, this is great. And I guarantee you, because I every once in a while, I don't pay real close attention, but every once in a while I check the analytics, and I can tell you with confidence that the episodes that get the most play are not the episodes with the big names. The episodes that get the most play are the episodes where we talk about some stuff that matters and that people actually care to hear about. Absolutely. And I fully expect this one to get lots and lots of shares, and that's all to the good. And look, man, when I say like, share, subscribe, rate, review, I'm not saying that just for our benefit. Like, if we ever end up seeing any kind of scratch out of that, it's just going to keep the thing going. The reason I say like, share, subscribe, rate, review is you never know when some of the random crazy BS that I let fly out of my mouth on this thing, or that we talk about on here, might actually be the one thing that resonates with somebody, that they're randomly browsing on YouTube or on their favorite podcast app, and they listen to it for a second and they hear it and they're like, what? And then all of a sudden, boom, they're in. Or it's like little things that you pick up along the way when you're playing disc golf and reading articles and stuff, like Dave Feldberg's thoughts on elevation. You know what I mean? Like, certain things that I remember reading or being taught in my disc golf career have always stuck with me. And it's this random isolated moment in time. I'll never forget who said it, what it was they said, what the context was, what the weather was like when it happened. It's that one of those moments that just gets burned into your hard drive. And that's the way this is going to work. We might feel like we're just talking about nothing for hours at a time, but you never know what 3 words that one of us says might actually make a difference for somebody. So, and that's like the definition of faith, man, is, it's just like what you did with Vets Disc Golf, is you had this idea and you saw the good it was doing for you and the people immediately around you. And you're like, this should be for everybody. And you're stepping out in faith, not knowing, you're seeing, and that's like we said, it's a God thing. It's like, like there's that brief moment where the sun breaks through the clouds, and it's like in a video game, there's like a dude shining in golden light that's going to give you a quest. You know what I mean? It's like the moment that you have where you realize how it's all aligning itself to happen, and you capitalized on it. And that's the most common thing that happens, is these opportunities and these moments present themselves, and people just let them pass by. Don't even notice. They're in their phone, or they're thinking about where they're on their way to, or where they're coming from, and all these moments that could make the difference in the rest of your life just constantly passing us by. It's like what I said earlier, like, you don't know who the people that you're interacting with are, where they come from, what they're going through. Like, take a few minutes every day to think about somebody other than yourself.
Right.
And that's the tip. That's just the tip with Marcus Rogers.
Just the tip, people.
Just the tip.
Pineapple.
Yeah. Now I'll say, you said 3 words, and that's kind of funny, because that's kind of how I found Jordan in the first place. Was, I was looking up, and speaking with the God putting it all together is kind of like a thought coming to my head one day. Well, let me think Vets Disc Golf, and I think that's what I typed into Facebook, and here came Vets Disc Golf Club. Yep. So it's kind of like I said, it's a golf. It's a golf thing. Yeah, it's a golf thing.
It's a golf thing.
It's a golf thing. It's a God thing too.
Nice.
But,
thanks, golf God.
Right. Like thanks, golf God.
It's a golf thing.
Right.
Thanks, Ralph. I'm pretty sure his name's Ralph. I don't know. I'm going to go with it. Let this happen. Don't make this weird.
But Jordan, I definitely, I want to say thank you, man, for getting all this started, and I appreciate you reaching out to us and feeling good with myself and with the rest of the board, with Jimmy and Aaron and Dave. we have gone to you on a lot of things, and I know that you've leaned on us on some things, and without you coming up with this idea and getting it started for us, it may still not be a thing. So you are always the founder, and we absolutely love you for it.
I am the gatekeeper. Are you the key master?
I'm just Marcus.
Yeah, I shouldn't have done that. That felt weird and forced.
Not going to change.
Right.
I'll talk about that on the housekeeping section at the front end of the next episode on episode 32.
Right.
I'm sure somebody will need an apology for that. I don't know who it'll be or why, but I'm just going to throw a guess out there and say somebody's going to be like, "Why did you say that? That was so weird."
You're bowling 300, bro.
Because it's been 2.5 hours already, bro. I've been at this for a while now. I need a break. I need to pee so bad. Not really.
We'll just
I'm
go
okay.
ahead and
I could last a little while longer.
trim a couple of these comments.
But no, man, to reiterate again, thanks for joining us. This has been a blast. And, I'm just super interested and inspired and, impressed by what you're doing, and never stop. And thank you. Pass the thanks along to your family for letting us borrow you this evening. And if there's ever any new developments with the organization or anything that you want to get out on the airwaves,
exclusive.
Have Robert drop me a message, and we'll make time to get you back on the show to shout it from the rooftops.
And I'm ready to see the RV in Nashville.
And Dr.
whenever it
Hoy
comes through.
is listening.
Right. Yeah. Now that you're in the RV, you can go visit all the clubs and make sure we're.
Speaking of that,
You can get a last
late July. Calls are from the suburbs of Nashville, so we'll be.
Okay.
Where? Which area?
July?
Which suburb?
They're in Murfreesboro.
That is not a suburb of
Murfreesboro.
Nashville. That is a entirely
That is-
different city.
that's a-
But yeah,
It's a
well, that's what I
close enough,
thought
right.
when I was planning to move
Right.
to Nashville. I was like, oh, it's only 40 minutes away. I could live there and still be in Nashville.
We got people commute there every day.
It's like, dude, literally the way the 24 is, you're an hour and a half away at best.
During the week.
You
But-
don't know traffic, man.
But either way, when you
San
get to
Diego.
Murfreesboro, we will
Yeah.
come kidnap you,
Virginia.
bring you to Nashville so you can play all the good courses. Shout out to MTDGA.
Yep.
Pew, pew, pew. Exclusive. Shots fired. Shots I'm just kidding. Bridge the gap. I love MTDGA, and I love Sharp Springs. Could do without Barfield, but hey, that's just me.
Also me.
I went way too far down that rabbit hole.
You met me there.
You
I
were
was
living
already-
in
I
a
was
rabbit
already
hole for
there.
about the past
Right.
10
When
minutes.
you
Yeah, it
came
may
down
be
that
time-
rabbit
it
hole,
may
I
be
was
time
like,
to
hey,
put
here comes Will. I'm already down here, Will. Yeah,
It may
that's
be
me.
time to put a bow on this thing. Yeah, once again, Jordan, thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Have a good night, man.
Have a good night, buddy.
Thanks for having me, guys. Appreciate it.
Take her easy, sir.
See ya.
Exclusive.
Alrighty then.
Oh.
Well, we're not off yet. We're still on.
I'll just take the earphones off because I know we're not plugged into the correct
Oh, that's right.
Source.
That's
we're
very
not
true.
hearing- We're not hearing anything.
the correct source where we can hear ourselves through the earphones. So
I'm just
I know
saying,
I
don't
can
go
turn them
running
off
out
right
the
now, and I
door
can-
yet
I
because
can
we're still
put
going
the
to wrap
random
it
hat
up.
on. Random hat. What episode number is this?
This is episode 31.
31.
Check her out. It's pretty cool.
Exclusive.
Tang! What's up, bro? You guys
Tang.
can't see it, but David Tang's here.
David Tang's in the house. Bam, 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 bam.
We got David Tang on the mic. Give that thing a test.
Test.
Testing.
Close enough.
Testes. 1, 2 testes. A good thing that parental advice. Let's do the pineapple thing one more.
Yeah,
time.
go ahead and do that real quick.
Just for
'cause,
posterity.
what did you? Okay.
All right, man, that was fun.
that was
Thank
great.
you, Robert, for coming over to the studio and hanging out with us tonight.
Yeah. It's been a
And
lot
thank
of
you for
fun.
setting that up with Jordan because he's rad as hell.
Yeah.
I like that guy. Can't wait to play disc golf with him.
Right. Yeah, when he comes into Nashville, we'll definitely get
that's
around
good,
him
man.
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good stuff, man.
Did you know this was happening? Did you know he was coming and you didn't tell me?
Well, what had happened was
You
we
trying
were
to
communicating and we were doing a podcast at the same time, so I can't be like, "Hey, bro, Tang's on the way."
Good
but
call. Good
Maybe
call.
I could have.
I mean, it was a nice surprise. I looked up. I was like, "Holy shit, it's Tang!"
Hey, don't feel bad. I still can't putt, so I'm right there with you, buddy.
Thanks, buddy. Thanks for the solidarity. I
Holy
feel
shit!
better.
There's another one of those baskets. I gotta throw a putter into.
You gotta put an asterisk on there. He still can't putt within 30. But
Hey, guys,
anything outside of 30, he's making all week.
For all you noobs just getting into the sport, if you get 4 or 5 years in, realize you still can't putt, hey, you can always start a podcast. Just never tie for last cash, whatever you do. And on that note, we're going to flip this thing over and catch you guys on the other side of the thing that we flipped.
Send us out with a song.
That was almost good, and then I ruined it.
Drop the beat, Holmes.
I can always either open good or close good. I can't ever do both.
Right up. Sapphire. We win!
Let the bass kick.